hydration during gaming is important.
That's right. Keep hydrated.
That's right. Tonight is a water night.
Really? From Ty.
I'm having a bubbly soda because I had an upset tummy earlier, so I get a little treat.
And I, to celebrate this V5 game that has been like 3 years in the making, and made legitimate by awesome players, really just kind of up in the game, taking it seriously. Am celebrating with my favorite brewery from Milwaukee, MKE. This is Louis' Demise and Amber Ale. They have the best tour in Milwaukee, in my opinion, because they let you keep the glass. It's the whole reason. The other ones, you have to give the glass back.
They also used to give you the most beer out of many of the tours.
Right, well, because they just kept pouring. They didn't care. The other ones are like they'd have like their little like
2 pours.
This
no
is
more.
scene setting, okay? A Sunday morning as a poor kid in Milwaukee, 20-something-year-old in Milwaukee, you have like just change in your pocket, and you want to hang out with your friends like and play video games or RPGs all day. So you would hit the like River West or MKE brewery tour, pick up a case of PBR on the way back, and just like have a nice chill all day. So that's Milwaukee by day. This is Milwaukee by night. Welcome everybody. This is the second episode of Endless Elegy. Tonight we are telling ghosts. I'm joined by my fantastic cast of players. Just real quick introductions. Don't need to do the full thing. Just to reset yourself. Who are you? What you playing? And we'll jump in. Starting with
Howdy
Pix.
there. I was wondering, like, want me to go? Like, well, howdy, I'm Pix. I'm our coterie's lovely and most essential Nosferatu.
Also our only Nosferatu.
You don't know
yes,
that.
that makes me essential. There could be 2 of us in here under a trench coat.
How about you, Elizabeth?
Hi, yeah. I am Charlotte. I am playing Elizabeth in our game tonight. And you know what? Shameless self-promo. If you want to find out anything I do on the internet, check out at Foxfire22. That is FOXFYRE22. And you will be able to pull up almost everything I do with that. Yeah, so looking forward to tonight's game. It's our second one. And it'll be a little bit longer than the first one.
Fantastically longer. Almost twice as long. Perhaps more. Scott.
My name is Scott. I'll be playing Ben Sahar. I am the resident Tremere. And hopefully I don't get into too much trouble.
Tremere, their fantastical reputation for trouble. And of course, with the pyramid gone, I think they've become a far more compelling clan. Maybe we can finally relinquish our hatred of Tremere all these years later. Maybe not.
I'm working on it.
And then we got my one of my oldest friends in the world. Actually, my oldest friend in the world, Sam. How's it going?
Doing all right. I'm Sam. I'm playing Cass. I'm the Malkavian. Don't let me drive.
That's right. Don't let him drive. And true Malkavian, 0 internet presence. Finally, that brings us the man with no name, Ty. How's it going?
I'm excellent. I am Ty, and tonight I'll be playing Salvatore of Clan Hecata, the most serious vampire in this group.
I'm not gonna lie, your RP powers took me off guard, Ty. I was like, wow, you gotta that no gets me every time on the last video. And I had written down a shameless self-promotion for the Discord as part of this, but I'm just gonna mention real quick that I am your storyteller this evening. I will be guiding you through Milwaukee and trying to keep my tangents about how much I love Milwaukee to a minimum as I turn it into a horror nightmarescape polluted with werewolves, ghosts as far as the eye can see, and evil corporations trying to take over the world, and the vampires that are also trying to take over the world but maybe stop them. If you want to, you can join our Discord. There will be a link in the chat or the down there part on the VOD. And you can join the Discord. There is a nice little Milwaukee by Night section. There's a lot of player bios, places of Milwaukee, and they've been sort of World of Darkness up for this. Most of them are real places that I've just kind of put a spin on. So, welcome. So last week feels like it was yesterday, or the same night even. Y'all met the Tyrant Prince of Milwaukee, the Gangrel Decker. Formerly,
He wasn't that bad.
No, seemed pretty decent actually, at least at first. This sort of Gangrel, this actually loyal Gangrel to the Camarilla, running Milwaukee in a time of war. Now there has been a bit of a lull around the city in terms of like rampant werewolf activity. Who knows why? You could speculate anything. Some rumors say that the war is over. Decker's been just successful, right? Some say they're building for a second wave or a second assault. This is the calm before the storm, pretty classically. But you met Decker at Miller Park, and he sort of began the evening with a ritual. He is a gigantic Milwaukee Brewers fan, which is why he's actually a true Milwaukee citizen. And we'll get to the citizenship in a second. He actually gave a toast to the workers and some people, some kine actually that had died erecting the stadium, which was kind of interesting for a kindred, I would think. And as he got out of the public view, you sort of got this dichotomous portrayal of Decker. You got the Decker that maybe harkened back to the Decker of old that folks maybe have heard legends of. The Anubi biker gang leader who rode in on a Harley, keeping the city clean of Lupine. But then you met the Tyrant Prince. He sent you on, in typical Prince fashion, a mission where he really just didn't give you too much information. There might be a caitiff in town. And I'm not certain how much folks understand about caitiffs in Camarilla culture, but thin bloods and caitiffs are seen with a great deal of stigma. They tend to be viewed as a sort of harbinger of Gehenna. So anytime they start to sort of culminate, the Camarilla tend to, brute force them out. Decker said he would be reasonable, but he's got a reputation as the Tyrant Prince anyway. Anyway, the party has been sent to the Rave. It is Milwaukee's proving grounds for sort of the metal groups, and the band where the band Momentum Mori is headlining, sort of 3-act or 3-band set piece. Momentum Mori, sort of innocuous band. In the past, one of the write-ups you can actually see on the Discord is there of their little origin story. And Pix actually has some what we call a fan level of knowledge. Pix, why don't you reset Momentum Mori for us?
Oh goodness, before our lovely Hikata informed me that it's just noise. Whatever, really, Momentum Mori is one of those garage bands, started out real underground, with that kind of sound that you would expect from Evanescence. Anything just with a lot of feeling. And particularly with this caitiff leader and the recent boom in popularity, it's a little curious to see. I wouldn't call myself a fan necessarily, but I'm adjacent to enough to understand that this growth is a bit unprecedented.
Right, excellent. The one sort of just, I don't even know if this rumor made it into the rumor mill that the party sort of gleaned last time, or if it's something that our storyteller let slip in classic GM foretelling, pretending like they accidentally said something they really meant to say manner. But some kindred believe that if you listen real carefully to Momentum Mori's music, you can hear Gehenna and Nodist references. So there's actually a really weird sort of kindred following to it. Of course, that might just be the Ozzy Osbourne played backwards, is the devil talking to you equivalent myth for the kindred. We don't really know. We just know that Prince Decker wants you to go talk to their lead singer Athena and get a feel for her. So that brings us to the Rave. Our party stands outside this great sort of structure that is deceptively large and quite old, built in late 18 late 1890, I believe it was. It initially started out as sort of like a social club, and it has since evolved into a just this, again, Milwaukee proving grounds for bands. Now you pull up, it is right early on. I believe you promptly left from Prince Decker's, so it's pretty early on in the evening. We're looking at about somewhere between like 7 and 8 o'clock. You can see the crowds are sort of milling about outside. The sort of primary gate to the inside has rolled open, and the base people are sort of filtering in. And outside the rave, along the streets and the sidewalks that sort of flank either side of it, because it's sort of built up on a hill, they've got little vendor tents where they're giving away swag, or you can go and spin a wheel and they'll give you might win tickets to Summerfest, which is the biggest music festival in North America. It's so, just this sort of standard, like, people promote the rave. You've got all the local radio stations have their little booths, and the main one that's sponsoring the event has actually a DJ set up outside, like doing "We're live on scene here at the Rave, Milwaukee's famous establishment," and just giving the whole pitch, right? It's the first time your party has been I guess, are you calling yourselves a coterie yet? What do y'all think? Are we officially coterie, or does that happen after the first mission for the prince?
Coterie, that's such a strong word.
Coterie's such a strong word, yeah. So we'll stick with party for now. But this is the first time you've been around this many kind, and you start to feel just something inside you. It's sort of, just something aching to get out, something that wants to run free, wants to play. The lion is finally amongst all the sheep. You're all going to roll a rouse check to see if you get hungry.
So how exactly does this rule work?
So this is actually my favorite. This is the reason why I really gravitated towards V5. It is what they did with Hunger Dice. So Hunger Dice is like just this fantastic mechanic. It sets the harmony between ROLL playing and ROLE playing, which are just, when those are in harmony, wonderful. Rather than a blood pool in V5, you have hunger. It's a little, checkbox 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the beginning of the evening session, narratively relevant moments, you will roll a rouse check, a single D10. If it's 6 or higher, you don't gain a hunger die. If it's 5 or lower, you get hungrier. The hungrier you get, the closer the beast comes to coming out and having its way.
So now on a dice that has the onks, I'm assuming that is 6 to 10?
Correct. Yeah, so if you're playing with the fanciful actual like V20 ones like these, you're going to get these, they're just going to have the onks on them. And for any of your dice checks, skill rolls, whatever, you might have like a dice pool of like 5 on, to stealth, right? I've got 5 black dice. If I gain a hunger, I remove one of those, and I'm going to roll with one of those hunger dice. Now the hunger dice is something a little bit different. It's got your messy critical, which is like a double onk. And it's got your bestial failure. Bestial failures have essentially replaced botches. So you can't botch a roll if you're not hungry, really. But when you are, the beast comes out. And if you succeed, the sort of beast takes... If you succeed with a critical, with that hunger die, you get that sort of messy critical, and the beast sort of like also sort of exerts itself. It's not pretty, but you succeed. And usually I leave it up to my players to describe how their beast manifests itself, because I think that's very personal to the player and the character. So yeah, a few folks. How'd y'all do? I see Ben Sahar got hungry. Looks like Pix and Elizabeth both just kind of were able to maintain their composure. They maybe they just catch a whiff of that like stale like Miller Lite, and just like in the blood, and they're just like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, please, I've been around bigger crowds than this. This is nothing.
We're ladylike.
Dal appears to be a little bit peckish.
So
Maybe it's just because I'm a bagger, but I don't know. Just blood in people is just not that appealing.
So, the party sort of. I guess. Do you linger around the sort of vendors on the outside, or do you head into the parking lot?
I'm gonna go check out the tent that has the spinny wheel. For the simple fact that I like the noise that they make when you spin them.
All right. Yeah, you see a sort of like sprightly college student. She's rocking like a purple the classic like sort of purple shirt with the puffer vest over it. She's got her earmuffs on and some very stylish. Well, her toboggan. Sorry, this is Wisconsin. She's got her toboggan on. And
Okay, hold on a second. Toboggan.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that that's a hat?
Yes.
Okay, because up here in the real north, it's called a toque, and a toboggan is a sled.
I don't know what happened when we became South Canada. We lost something in translation. We call hats toboggans. And also tobogganing toboggan. So, like, if you go tobogganing, you're not going hatting, you're going sledding. Welcome to Wisconsin, everybody. I'm so happy that I can share our culture with you. Yeah, so she's got her toboggan on. It is spring, and she's skeptical on whether or not this is real spring or a prelude to second winter. So she is a prudent Wisconsinite. She's rocking the toboggan and the puffer vest. She's super, just again like really really energetic, like really like selling the crowd. Like hey, like come on over, Spin. You could win tickets. Summerfest, greatest rock shows, greatest hip hop shows, greatest country shows. No, you like jazz. We've got a few jazz musicians coming this year. It's going to be fantastic. She's step on up, spin the wheel, win something, or, go home with a magnet, or my favorite, koozie.
I mean, she had me at magnets. A magnet could be fun to have.
What's koozie?
A beer koozie. It goes on.
Oh, cozy. A beer cozy.
This is going to be a fun
This
night.
is going to be a thing, yeah.
I know, I'm just watching.
We're going to have to overlay the translation in...
Yeah, we're gonna have to hire a few interns to have them like do the translations in Canadian, like instead in American, and just all right, yeah. So she's kind of gesturing over at Elizabeth. You see, like there's not really a line much, you just happen to catch them in between the waves type thing. You see like the 102.1, the buzz or whatever up on the slogan, up on the banner, and all the stuff is merged out to be a rock station.
Yeah, I'll slowly walk up to the tent and kind of maintain eye contact with her as I move up. As I get close enough to assume that we're within earshot. So what's this about?
She's like, well, it's just a little giving back to community here in Milwaukee, 102.1, The Buzz, all about community. Go ahead. If you spin the wheel, it's free. You just spin it. You could win something. There's a couple spots where you might not, and she kind of laughs, but you look pretty lucky.
I'd like to think so. So what's the buzz? I'm new into town, just visiting some friends. I haven't had a chance to check out the local music scene. This is kind of my first time here.
Oh, well, see, I'm Sarah. Sunday mornings, 10 to noon. This is Milwaukee's premier rock and roll station. We play the best of the 80s, 90s, and everything up until now. We even on Sundays, my block, we play local acts. 10 to 2. Your hardcore Sunday show.
Okay, so offside, what day is it today?
Wednesday. I think I said it was Friday night last week, so we'll go with Friday night. I don't want to have a continuity error in our second adventure.
I mean, I would have made a comment if it was Saturday, but Oh, that radio set or that kind of music sounds right up my alley.
Fantastic. Well, even if it's not, it's a great time to become a fan, she says. And what better way than winning a koozie? And she gestures to the wheel.
Well, that's the one I'm hoping for. I'll walk over and spin the wheel.
Roll a d10.
Oh, that did not work.
I can roll.
All right, 1 second. Let's figure out how to roll one die.
Okay. She's like, so, you're new to town. Where are you from? She just starts making small
I'm
talk.
from out west,
Out west.
along the coast.
Oh, like Portland.
Yeah, around that area. Mind you, a little bit further north. Portland's interesting.
Yeah, I've got my roommate's from Portland. Talks about a few places all the time. I guess the whole rock scene's pretty great over there. Grunge, all that. Being Seattle nearby, they get some offshoots and a little bit of a rebellion back and forth.
Yeah, it's that kind of summarizes the entire area as a whole, regardless of whether you're talking about music or anything else.
That noise, that like with the that hum and then the click 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 click, like whirs around, and you see it land, like just begin to go to like free spin again, and then it bounces back on the Summerfest logo, which is a red smiley face. She's like, and you win, she says. The grand prize, she says. She grabs a pair of tickets. She goes, so who you taking to Summerfest? And she grabs, got a friend in mind here? Looks
yeah,
maybe
I know
past to,
someone
like,
who
Pix or
might
something.
be into the music. I'll kind of depend if I'm still around at that time, but
All right. She's like, excellent. She's like, okay, so I just gotta get a photo with you, since you won the tickets, or since you won a pair of tickets. She doesn't say like the tickets. Since you won a pair of tickets, gotta get a photo with you, and if you don't mind, give me a little soundbite that 1021 The Buzz is your favorite station.
certainly.
She pulls out her like camera and like goes live on the Instas or whatever, and so she's like, this is Hardcore Sarah from Hardcore Sundays. She says, I'm here with
Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth, what's your favorite rock station in Milwaukee?
Pause for a second for dramatic effect. What was it? 101?
1021.
1021 The Buzz.
Fantastic, she says, and she like exaggerated poses as she's handing you the tickets and stuff.
Take them and pause for photo op.
Yeah. So she shoots the photo. She gets the sound bite. She shoots the photo op with it like in front of like the big banner, the 1021, and stuff like that, and sees a crowd starting to filter, and she's like, well, I'll probably be working Summerfest, so swing by again, maybe win some more.
Awesome.
And remember, tune in 10 to noon Sundays.
I will. Have a good night.
Does anyone else in the party, like, are they in the like your feet are like facing the booth or facing away? Your body language showing you're about to walk up, or letting the next sort of crowd of folk kind of jump in?
There's the siren call of that magnet, and as much as Pix abhors be on camera, just the magnet is worth it. So, hoodie pulled up and all that, just kind of shuffle up to the booth, and could I do a pull on that?
She turns around like she's in like sort of pre-beaming mode. She's like, oh, absolutely, 1021 Buzz. You look like a Buzz fan, she says. There's like a notice kind of message. She's like, yeah, so you spin the wheel, 1021, like rock and roll?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Momentum Mori fan. Originally heard you guys up on the Buzz. Been in town for a few months. Rockin' stuff.
Right, yeah, right. She's kind of processing the Nosferatu visage, and
I'm a burn victim. No, don't say anything about it. Be polite.
No, it's cool. We're chill here. But yeah. So go ahead, spin. Spin by all means. Rock and roll heals the soul.
Oh hell yeah! And as soon as I figure out how to do the 1d10, I will do a roll.
/R space 1d10 is the easiest way I've found so far.
Puggers. Oh hell yeah! Oh, it's pink too! Yay! That's a 4.
You see it like whiz around, and you see it begin to bounce to the magnet, and it goes back to spin again. Oh, so sad, but it's a free spin. Free spins, and a high five. She like puts.
Pix will give her a high five with her big clawed hand.
Do you put some force, some kindred force into it, or just like a pleasant high five?
Oh god, Pix has 1 point in strength. I don't think she could if she tried.
Yeah, all right.
Just a good old mortal high five.
Yeah. Roll a dex roll, difficulty 10 to see if you actually hit. Because high fives are hard. Okay. So yeah, quick high five, spin again, roll again.
Hoping for that magnet. Come on. Oh, and I did it wrong.
So you have the arbitrary rolls early, so people learn the system, and then you can inject.
Oh god damn it! But I'm spacing. My space bar isn't working. Oh, I apologize. I've immediately forgotten how to do it. Remind me.
What was the input, Charlotte? Sorry.
/R space 1d10.
That's what I was missing. I was doing it like a Discord thing.
Zoomers.
I know. So disgusting.
So at 2, you get my least favorite prize on these stupid wheels.
No.
It's the chapstick. And it's like the really bad, gnarly, like made out of like the super hard, long dried out, barely functional chapstick, but it's got the 1021 the Buzz logo on it. And she's like, "A chapstick," she says. She's like, "I'm sure you'll use this well."
Like just with my dry, wrinkly self to look at it, like, thank you. She'll just pop it open and start using it there.
It kind of hurts a little bit, like on like, because it's got to warm up some. Basically, it's just really old.
I'm gonna walk up behind her and kind of like rest my hands on her head because she's like that level, I think. Sarah, can my friend here actually have a magnet? She was really hoping for one of them.
I only have so many. I think someone's rolling some dice here to perhaps persuade her.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I was listening attentively because if this doesn't work, he has a tendency to just take what he wants.
Where is my character sheet anyway?
Ready to treat Sal.
Man, feels like a dexterity plus larceny, right?
We only go to stealing when it's drastic. Although this magnet is a very drastic cause.
Yep,
for me, at least. I'm going to put it in my sewer walls.
You know what? You did win the tickets. You're coming to see me at Summerfest, she says. Why the heck not? She says, and she grabs the magnet, and it's got the cool logo, and it's got like the little calendar on it with the brewer's schedule.
Race is subverted.
Thank you so much. She really appreciates it.
I do. Thank you. Pix is just looking at it with like this amount of like, you've given her the golden plates, and she is John Smith. Like, this is such an act of kindness to her. And she just gives Elizabeth this big old toothy grin.
Sarah actually, like, you've got the shark teeth thing going on, I think, as you kind of described it last time. And
like a vampire bat, just those two long, like, fused teeth.
That's right. So the vampire bat teeth, sorry. And she actually, unlike her sort of initial reaction, she's kind of, warmed up to the thing. And sort of anticlimactically, she actually sees how happy you seem to genuinely be with the magnet. She's like, you know what? Have to.
Best night in Milwaukee ever. I love the buzz.
You come. You know what? You come see me at Summerfest too. 1021. The buzz.
I'd be absolutely honored.
And can I just get a soundbite? She holds her phone up. What's your favorite rock radio station in Milwaukee?
1021 The Buzz, of course.
like, "You ladies have a fantastic evening." And
You too. Thank you.
she starts like waving and charming like some more folks. Is Sal easing up or?
I mean, no need to steal. Sal was just keeping an attentive eye. If the magnets changed hands, they did. Deal done.
There's some T-shirts there. Like there's the koozies. You can see like the one box. They're out of largest because they're always out of largest, but they have every size XL on up and medium and below.
Hey, can I take a second to go like full Toreador?
I don't care.
All right, so with the face or whichever it is, we haven't really decided yet. I do have a bit of a social media presence for music and stuff like that.
Okay. Yep.
So I haven't given up my phone because fuck the SI up their stupid asses.
Love the fire.
Alternate accounts. From my official Instagram account, I'm going to tag Sarah and the Buzz, and once that sends, kind of show her the phone, show her Instagram. Hopefully she'll check hers if she does. And based upon what her response is, because having a few thousand people now, or I think we're up to a few 100,000 people.
Yeah, you've got
some eyes on. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got some fame. You've got a following. Like it's not nothing. And for Milwaukee, it's a small big town or a big small town, however you want to look at it. Yeah. Relative to 1.65 million, a couple. That's a good number. Let's just go ahead and. She's like, wait, you said you were Elizabeth, not like Elizabeth, as like the notifications go off on her phone, and you kind of show her, and she like pulls out her phone, and wait. The violinist, right?
Not going to say anything, just walking away, giving her a wink, and keeping on going.
Smooth. Also, thanks for the magnets. I'll give you one later. Thank you.
And I'll give you the ticket later.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Actually, that concert, I'm assuming it's in the summer. Does it start after dark? Or does it go after dark?
Yeah, it goes all day. Like they open up, I think it's like 9 a.m. and they close little past midnight. So
just vampire problems.
But with maybe that's in our reality. In the world of darkness, they might run a little bit later because there's some other influences going on, right? So
because the party don't stop till we turn in.
That's right. That's right.
So what happens if you get one success, but it's only on your hunger dice? That's bad, right? Or that's not bad.
Bad-ish. I mean,
define bad.
Yeah. What are?
I just wanted to steal a T-shirt. You told me there were T-shirts.
All right, so I'm gonna meet you halfway here because it's your hunger die, and Sarah is distracted.
Yeah.
Tell me how your beast helps you steal this shirt.
Oh, it is.
So it's not quite subtle, but there's some interference.
I mean, it's that predator. Just completely cold, probably waits for the opportune moment and then just quick, it's out of just a pure like flash of quickness. There's no quietness, no like stealth to this. It's just as fast as he can, swoops in, snatches, and then turns away.
Yeah. All right. So this is one of those, you've in the like peripheral view of somebody done a thing, right? And humans have like hypervigilance and stuff like that where we, our fight, flight, or flee response triggers. And is this clearly a predator? This is like the first time you lock eyes with a wild animal without a cage. Okay? Like you are stripped from all of your sort of pretensions and posturing, and in that moment, if you're staring down the grizzly when you're picnicking, or if you don't like particularly care for snakes or something, and you lock eyes with one, that happens. Her, like, sort of this professional communicator, is just speechless as she just sort of notices this movement, that enough to make her glance over, but it was too quick to be normal. It was the sort of thing where, ghost walked over your grave type thing. She just freezes, staring at you, and you've got the shirt in hand, and your eyes maybe even flit. That sort of like with that predator shimmer in the moonlight, the half moonlight, by the way, if you're wondering.
Yeah, it's like a flat black. Sal's eyes are dark enough where at night it probably just looks almost like a matte finish.
Yeah, unnaturally so. And she just freezes. She doesn't say anything about the shirt. She has just witnessed your beast.
Nonchalant, just over the shoulder with the t-shirt and walking after my friends.
Hey, can we spin now or what? You see a guy with like the tilted sideways stupid hat. Hang on, let me.
Come on, it's a Make-A-Wish thing. Get out of the way, dude.
The scene. Hey, can we spin now or what? And she kind of shakes her head, like shaking whatever horrors she glimpsed in your eyes from it, and favorite rock station, have a T-shirt. She just hands one, and thanks, and then it takes her a moment more, and by that time you've already kind of headed back towards the parking lot.
That was just for a T-shirt, friends. Wait until it's something that matters.
I probably could have gotten that for you a little bit less sketchy-like.
Cute just pictures like playing with her magnets, making them like just go against each other.
Yeah, they do that weird thing where it feels like there's a marble between them,
Oh god, yeah, the forces pushing against each other while this serious masquerade rage is being talked about. Just, I got the magnets. I'm good.
I'll remember that
Kate.
next time I want to spin a wheel.
There's fun and luck, chance, that kind of thing, and sometimes it's good to have a friend who can help better those odds. And Pix will just lightly nudge Elizabeth as she says so.
What do Ben and Cass do kind of as this little scene's unfolding, as I think a kind of perfect display of the that relationship where vampires, some of them still cling to their humanity and still try to be a part of the world, and yet you have this predator inside, that dichotomy. What do Ben and Cass do? Ben, we'll start with you, and then we'll jump to Cass. It doesn't need to be grainy. Just what are they sort of generally doing? We'll get kind of caught up in the timeline.
I'm kind of laughing at the fact that they made a point to say that I needed to be subtle, but we got Scooter over there trying to steal a shirt, and I'm still wondering why I'm walking into this, because this seems like a total setup to me. So I'm trying to be as inconspicuous and off to the side, and just being like,
suddenly regretting your choice in boots. I shouldn't have worn the ones with the extra 2 chains. Those are gonna catch light. Or whatever you said. Expensive goth, I believe, was the descriptor from last week. Cass, what's Cass generally doing?
So Cass's humanity is a 5. So, he's just doing his Cass thing and kind of like muttering to himself and like looking about. He also really doesn't like this a whole lot. He's not quite sure why, but he just has a general like, this doesn't feel great kind of vibe.
Right. So Cass humanity being a little bit lower than perhaps the rest of, we're not calling it a coterie yet. That's a strong word. He feels sort of alienated around all these kind. It's just, and in that space, he has this almost like there's this like weird other sort of like oppression going on, like this other thing kind of weighing on him, and he hasn't quite put his finger on it. You sort of wind into the alleyway. You see a listless Cass kind of pulling his jacket short and just kind of muttering to himself. You see Ben, like, hand on face, hoping like nobody recognizes him from his club because he's in the music scene too, type thing. And then the parking lot kind of opens up. You see people standing around now. In the parking lot, this is where you see the open intoxicants are out. They're not on the sidewalk. They can be inside the little courtyard here. And so you see like folks gathering in their little clutches. They've gone inside, grabbed beers, brought them in, and if they're a real savvy Milwaukeean, you can catch one of them pulling a clear plastic satchel out of their sleeve and like filling up their Coke cup that they bought with something, and they're not paying $10 for a freaking beer, and they're doing that thing. And you notice sort of parked in the parking lot in a feature spot is a sort of large green and white van. It has this giant blue logo that says in all capital letters PENTEX. Propped in the van is sort of parked with the rear towards to face the crowds. As you can see, it's opened up, and there's a bunch of cases of water and little tiny snack bags in there. And you see a gentleman standing outside of one of those little quick propped up canopy tents with a little white table, and he's got bottles of waters, and he's hey, water, got to stay hydrated. And he's just kind of slinging water, and PENTEX welcomes you to this feature concert, like, and he's just kind of doing going through some sort of some verbiage, and trying to. He keeps saying PENTEX and working PENTEX into a lot of the conversation. I don't want to use the word script, but as if it was strongly urged to him that he be sure these folks know it's PENTEX that is putting on this concert.
I don't like this guy.
You can maybe a keen eye can maybe spot he's got like a brewer. He's rocking a brewer's jacket with the throwback colors, like a badass. He's got a sort of like ripped up sort of skinny jeans, and then he's got a name tag that says says like Kofi Alberts, and then it says PENTEX Community Leadership Specialist on it, and then it's got his like little like employee number. And that is where I'm going to have everybody roll a awareness, wits awareness.
Oh boy.
Game is paused. Is this relevant to dice? Do we unpause this?
No, it is fine for dice. If you want to unpause it, just press space. Pause makes a difference for like tokens and stuff like that.
Got it. I'm gonna check in with Chat Gang, see what's going on. And Tectonic Craft Studios, it is a Louis demise from my favorite Milwaukee brewery, MKE, to celebrate our second episode. All right. Everyone figuring out the dice roller over here? Fantastic. 5 on Pix.
Cass got 4 successes.
All right. Everybody takes a moment to admire the architecture of the Rave. The Rave has, like many places in Milwaukee, this sort of clash of eras going on. The original construct of the building is very old, but you can tell that they've renovated, remodeled, put newer windows on. Like, it's got sort of like Gothic era windows, a turn of the century vestibule, and the balcony up on top is very modern. But as you're looking at the architecture, you notice that inlaid throughout the whole thing, in some areas so weathered or imperceptible as to be barely noticeable, hence the role, that there's a lot of these sort of like tiny carvings of like effigies and people and little scenes, sort of classical like pseudo-Masonic type stuff, where you see like little scenes of just very clutches of humans. Those of you with 3 successes and greater notice all of that. But you also notice interlaid throughout, like, it's not just chill people. You start to pick up like a couple skulls here, like real subtle ones, like just, you wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it type stuff. You start to notice a couple inlaid runes. At first, you thought it was a splotch on the brick work or something like that, or like a weathered area where some mortar came out of it or something like that, and you're like, and you do like that double take, and you like, holy no, like that's deliberately carved, and you start to sort of pick up on all of that. With the 4 and the 5, the 4 and the 5, you actually notice an inscription on each of the archways leading into the Rave. So they have these high windows that almost look like teeth, grinning or menacing down at you. And you see this inlaid inscriptions in each of them. It is in German. Makes sense considering Milwaukee's heritage. Do any of the characters, does Pix speak German, do you think, or?
Pix speaks Dine Bizad, that's about it. So.
All right. Yeah, so, Cass, who I know a little bit of his history, sort of is staring at these inscriptions, and the party observes him visibly, like he's a little weird, little, twitchy, and he mutters to himself a lot, but you actually kind of see him go sort of a little catatonic, and his eyes widen, and he takes a step back as he sees one of these inscriptions, and you can see his eyes just sort of like gloss over. Cass is not standing here right now. Cass's form is here. He ain't there. And Cass, your sort of mind is jettisoned just through flashes of smoke that just sort of lights up with red and orange, and this repugnant smell of just sort of foul mustard and old like mushrooms and just decaying smells, and just flashing through it, and he can hear gunfire, and he suddenly starts to hear like maybe it's German, but maybe it's like sort of like dream gibberish. It could be any language, whatever. And Cass suddenly sort of like mutters the phrase almost unintentionally. When Athens falls, the depths shall rise. And he first says it like in perfect German. Like perfect German. Almost like somebody else is speaking. And then he like continues his mutter, and then he says it in sort of chopped German and English, and then finally your voices, the voice of Cass that you've come to know, sort of mutter this.
What was that?
You good, buddy?
Cass, you have sort of like come back, and you just you've got this. Vampires don't really like feel hot, cold, but you can almost feel your beast recoiling inside of you, just like kind of curling up and like, nah, if the body's gonna get destroyed, I'm gonna escape out the back type thing.
Cass will kind of look around. He'll look over at Pixie and be like, "Not really."
She's just gonna reach into her pocket and pull out one of the magnets she got you. Maybe this will make you feel better. It's It's all right. Tonight's kind of high tension. She's just trying to offset the tension so badly.
He'll like take it and start pressing it to his head and like moving it around a little bit.
Cass is maybe a little surprised when it lingers in one spot a minute.
And then he'll like just jerk it away and then hand it back. Great metal detector.
Thanks.
You'll be on the lookout for mines.
I mean, I hope there aren't mines. I don't think this was a war zone last I checked, but yeah, sure thing. Ears, eyes, toes open, everything.
Anywhere can be a war zone. He'll just kind of say it and then...
With that faraway look in his eyes, and Pix is just gonna give like the, I think Grandpa's like off his meds kind of look to everyone else.
It's about this time. Kofi's like, "Hey, stay hydrated. PENTEX wants you to stay hydrated." And like Kofi's holding up like 2 bottles, and he's like kind of calling at the party, which is sort of lingered just long enough to. I call them mall sharks, even if they're not in a mall, but like just long enough to get mall sharked. Anyone who's vending and yelling and party ignores Kofi.
Val probably looks just long enough to file this one away for later. Not now, not here. But does the visual like takes the inventory of this man, right?
He's all right. Well, he's like, don't worry. He's like, he's like, Milwaukee hydration. It's cool. He's like, but remember, PENTEX still loves you.
Pixie'll take a bottle of water, whatever they're offering. Might as well be among the kind and be friendly. Sure, thanks, Penchmex. Really appreciate it.
Stark contrast to Sarah. He is utterly unfazed by your appearance. He just hands you the water.
Oh, nice. I'm not sure if I will drink it, but I'll keep it on hand. Makes me look more human.
Not sure it's worth rousing. But the blush of life. PENTEX cares for your well-being. Yeah.
Sure thing, buddy.
He hands you the water bottle. As the party is heading, you head into the lobby now. I think you lingered in the parking lot long enough. Cool. Yeah. All right. The party begins to head into the lobby. As you're heading in, Ben, a well-dressed, even actually explicitly by your standards, a very well-dressed man, sort of like seems lean, but actually has a very firm build as he kind of bumps into you unintentionally. He's wearing a black suit with like sort of high collar, almost looks priest-like, but then you do a double take and you don't see the little white underneath it. He has a sort of dark salt and pepper, well-groomed beard that he's actually shaved to a point in the front pretty classically, and then sort of medium length, sort of manicured, like that's sort of tussled and gelled a little bit to give it that texture hair. This is a man that cares about his appearance and doesn't care that others know it. But he just sort of seems distracted. He was sort of looking up, and pardon me. Oh, I'm sorry. And he sort of waits for your reaction.
Or do the quick gesture of reaching for like where my wallet and keys are, just roll like, and then be like, yeah.
He's
no problem.
Do you do that like overtly?
Yeah, I do it very obviously.
He flashes a smile, and there's a little bit of a charm to it. He's like, "This is in Milwaukee in the '80s." He says, "He's like, if you want, I feel I've breached some decorum here. I could buy you your first drink."
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
He's like, "Sorry, I was looking for someone. I was somewhere else." He says, I don't suppose you saw him. No. Anyway, Edward. Edward, he says, and he like, sorry, man, and he extends the hand.
Just return the gesture.
You'll notice the Rolex as he shakes your hand.
Like visibly like dip to look. And then I look back at my watch and go, man, I need one of those.
Man, the flex would be to take it off, like to just show this person's opulence and the slight that he feels he has committed. He just takes off the Rolex. Here, now we're even. No, like this is the opulence of this person here. No, no. Again, sorry. Enjoy the concert. He says, and he just steps out, and you see him glance up at the moon, and you hear him sort of like he says something just, I guess, to himself. He's not trying to be heard. If you want to try to hear him, you can roll a wits awareness.
You try. Why not? Since we're pretty close proximity and there's no loud music, I assume, yet.
No. It's they're just the house music's playing. The 1021 is. They're pumping in the feed from outside the parking lot inside. So like, and then they've got some disc. They've got the actual DJ booth inside. That's the feed goes to Sarah outside, and so they can pipe in, hear her like talk about the streets, and she does her pitch like, man, Milwaukee's really out in force tonight, and so that a little bit of that like back and forth, and they play music live from the DJ's booth. That's what they tend to do, and then like the sort of pre-opener will come out, which is like a local band, and then the person that's touring with Momentum Mori will come out, or the band that's touring with Momentum Mori. What did you get for your roll? Sorry. 2? Got it. You hear him mention something about like the moon, the shadow, and you hear him say, perfect.
Yeah. Great. People saying crazy shit. All right. My favorite.
He heads over after he sort of pauses to like take in the moon's splendor. He steps over and begins talking to Kofi. Like he takes the water, opens it up, like takes a swill, like they start talking about of all things, the Rave, history. Kofi actually really knowledgeable, like tells him a bunch of trivia about the Rave, talks about the neighborhood around here, and lets slip that he's not from around here, but says a little bit about where he's from, and just they're just having a conversation, just one of those way too friendly Wisconsin conversations.
So just an FYI, Andrew, I have a couple. My humanity is also a little lower, not quite as low as Cass, so I'm at a 6. So in certain circumstances, like both of us will have like social penalties, just so you know, like difficulty or whatever.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give you this one. Edward was like one of those people who's just, he walks about 6 inches higher than the rest of everybody around him, type thing, and it wouldn't really faze him. You'd have to be, like Dracula or like full blown like Baba Yaga Nosferatu for him to like snap out of his world he's in, of how great he is and how much he owns everything around him in his personhood. Like, this man is the center of his world, and his world is 6 inches higher than your world. Even if he's shorter than like basically, he's just like a humble 5'9", 5'10", and so like half the party's taller than him.
Eye to eye.
Yeah. But metaphorically speaking, he's 6 inches like above everyone. So yeah. So that plays out like such. If you don't interact with him, he interacts with Kofi, and then you just kind of you might see him like disappear. Not you just hear PENTEX in the background.
I'm giving Salen a twitch as he hears that word every single time.
The minute you step inside the sort of like the main lobby, and the main lobby is again, everything about this building is just larger than you think. You step inside what this entryway that you think is going to be like a few feet, and then it just like goes back forever. You've got like the coat rooms flanking you. You've got people seeing if you want to check your coats. I'd imagine the party just kind of ignores them like I do every single time without fail anywhere I go. And like so you got like the coat checks flanking either side as you walk through. You've got like a sort of like brilliant chandelier that's kind of like well maintained from the time period that this place was built. You've got the sort of like a marble floors, but the first sort of section is carpeted before it opens up into it. Bright, just red carpet from a different era with little inlaid patterns in it, and then it just sort of widens up and opens out into a sort of general lobby where will call might be if you had like a will call ticket type thing. But a lot of that stuff in the modern era has begun to fade away, so there's a weird amount of a lot of empty spaces apart from the coat check, and most of the empty spaces that would have served a function maybe in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and as you just go back and back, have just all sort of become makeshift bars, with a couple of the sort of empty booths for some ticketing and logistic stuff. So the bars are it's at this phase of the night, it's people mostly trying to get their drinks before the rush, and stocking up and 2-drink minimum, grabbing 2 beers, going and stashing them, coming back and getting 2 more. The bartender's just like knowing they have to tell people, or not 2-drink minimum. The bartender's 2-drink maximum, like knowing they have to tell people two beers apiece just so that they can kick people out later when they get rowdy. But pretty much just whatever. Enjoy the concert, don't get rowdy type thing. So all around, you can see the sort of the roadies and the bouncers are all on hand. Most of them have the exact same build, which is like a badger. All the bouncers in Milwaukee are built like badgers. We are the badger state. I don't think it comes from the animal. I think it comes from our bouncers. Stocky, wide, you get the occasional like roller derby bouncer from Milwaukee's like roller derby team, and they're far more intimidating than the Badgers. And so you see that, and then you're in the lobby. Of note, you have a entry in the BIOS page for someone named Ren. You see her milling about in the lobby, talking to like a couple people. She seems to be asking some questions. For those of you at home, a woman with sort of dyed hair, underside shaved, flipped to the side, rocking in this evening a red leather jacket, some skinny jeans. Lots of extra jewelry, basically someone who would have been absolutely my friend in high school. So you see, Ren is the entry in the BIOS for the party, but you see her kind of milling about and asking some questions. She looks a little panicked, and then y'all need to find the band. You've got a pair of staircases that go up. You've got a couple sort of like little hallways nestled off in different directions, and then you've got the sort of main doors just sort of directly across that would go into the ballroom itself. The Rave ballroom is kind of interesting in that it is a like sort of perfect ellipse, and it has balconies that are also little circles, perfectly surrounded above it. If you look down, you'd have this like sort of like weird almost image of like the Malbolgia, where you have like this one large circle and then all these little overlapping circles on the outer rings, casting sort of gnarly shadows and weird geometric patterns as the lighting gets strung up. And then they set up the stage on sort of like the back third, and cut off the rear balcony and the rear access to that whole room, and that's, you know, your green room, backstage area, and that sort of thing. What do y'all do?
Might be worth checking upstairs, and of course, usually it's not a good idea, but splitting the party could be a good thing. Cover all our bases. Maybe Elizabeth and I could go upstairs, look around there, while we have some of the sneakier gents go around and maybe peek backstage.
Works for me.
Okay. All right. So the main sort of ballroom access only has like a couple doors open right now. You can just kind of glance in. You don't see any people in there just yet. It's just mostly like roadies and like a couple staff kind of coming in and out, and that's where the main bulk of the bouncers are right now. You got like kind of like a clutch of about 3 of them, and then flanking on either set of stairs, you've got one. As you approach the stairs, the gentleman sort of asks for a VIP. He just says, if you happen to glance at your tickets, Decker didn't skimp. They are VIP passes.
I was about to be like, Elizabeth, I need you here.
So pulls out his handy dandy little, like, you know, mobile target, you know, UPC scanner thing that they have now, and like just sort of deets the little tickets, and you get checked in and you can head on up. So you head on up the stairs. There is a just the upstairs is a ring completely around the ballroom. It is open air to an extent where it kind of leads out onto these balconies. And there's like every couple, like there's not really gaps. So it's just, you have to go out onto these little circle balconies to look down in the ballroom. And then just this like ring of almost reminds you of like an old like 90s 80s like skating rink, where it's just like it's dark, there's pillars like extra pillars everywhere, so you're sure to skate into them and hurt yourself, you know, like those old skating rinks. And then it's just sort of like concrete floor, wraps around the whole top, and there's just this is the VIP area. So there's like, this is where like there's little partitions off in these little like weird sort of semicircle ellipse patterns that they've somehow managed to make look great with the bars that they've laid up and all the decoration. And so you have these little sort of like lounge pods essentially on the outer ring, where you'd go and you'd sit down, you'd get like, this is where you get the mixers, not just like the draft beers from downstairs or outside. So this is where you get the mixers. This is where if you're going to be out on the balcony, folks will come over and periodically bring you liquor throughout the show. This is Milwaukee VIP, like, so it's a step in terms of price point. It's just like a step above the general admission. And then, you know, like the actual premium passes, the actual do real stuff is yet another price point. And they're all segmented off into like weird micro extra things you get so that they can scam you out of extra money, like all these concerts do these days.
Do we see any real like excitement or energy going on up here, like somebody's specials here? What I'm asking is the band up here right now.
There's like a small like conflux of folks gathered, like heavily weighting towards one of the more well decorated, well lit, sort of neon lit areas of these, like this little VIP lounge. They've got like just little step above the rest. They've got it like sort of roped off. Not that the rope's doing much. They just a person you see periodically lift it and close it, not talk to anybody as they go in and out kind of freely. And you see that folks are kind of like gathering around. You can see a person at the bar that sort of seems to be like sort of commanding a presence. Just a individual sort of in like Chuck Taylor's, skinny jeans, black belt with a buckle that says PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon on it. It's shaped like a bottle opener because it is. And then a flannel shirt over a black T-shirt and black nail polish. They have a pompadour, as is the superior haircut.
Was this you when you were younger?
This is I just described one of my friends. I plucked them out of my memory real quick because I'm like, I don't have a description for this person. A little behind the scenes there, live for you, is when I have to come up with a description on the fly. I just remember somebody and just insert them immediately.
Oh, I'll look at Pixie and say to her, "You want to go see what's going on over there? Looks like could be something."
Could be a meet and greet, you're right. And your pretty words can't get us in there. I can use a little disciplines. This wink. I can get us unprecedented access anywhere as long as there's nobody looking too closely.
That's what I'd like to hear. So yeah, I guess we're going to take a walk over. If I pass by a bar on the way, I might stop and grab a drink just so kind of blend in a little bit more.
Toreador, as I recall, as a product of their humanity, or you can sometimes take some merits, tend to be a little bit better at like blush of life and being around humans, right? Do you want to kind of?
I'd assume as much.
Talk a little, yeah, just a little bit. So they're a little bit more like sort of apt to blush of life around humans to let the humans feel at ease, and at higher humanity, you actually have like bonuses to do so, or in social interactions and or dice rolls. So
you mean my humanity 8 might actually come in handy?
Yeah. I can look it up real quick actually for you. I have to look at rules.
Yeah, I can't remember all the ins and outs of the V5 Toreadors.
See, I was gonna refresh on the rules. I really was, because it had been a little bit since I last played rather than planned. And then I just read a bunch of Milwaukee history for like a whole solid month instead and took notes. But honestly, I regret nothing.
As you should.
It's funny that there's this bell curve of how much you care about the rules for how long you've been GMing, and when you start out, it's peak you care. And then as the longer you play, you're just like, whatever. And then you get a little bit of upswing, and you're like, I should probably care a lot more for my players now that they're taking this more seriously. So I'm on the upswing a little bit. So it'll be all right. 236. All right, humanity 8. You can roll twice, 2 dice for your rouse check to use Blush of Life, and take the highest result. Blush of Life allows you to have relations, and Blush of Life allows you to digest and taste wine. You can rise from day sleep up to an hour before sunset if you wish.
Ooh. Fun. All right, so I get to roll twice?
Yeah, you can roll 2 dice, and you take the higher to Blush of Life. So this is a rouse check. Basically everything for the audience, pretty much everything, activating stuff, rouse. If you're not rolling skills, you're rolling rouse checks. Rouse checks are that simple, sort of like what we did for the hunger at the beginning. You either gain a hunger, or you don't. You do not gain a hunger.
I don't feel the need to roll a second time.
Yeah, so you just Elizabeth is in her element. Maybe a little cruder than what she's used to. But the rock scene and the sort of the sort of a little bit more on the icon personality side of music, that a little bit different, but there is certainly overlap, and this is her scene. She just sort of Pix is kind of standing there and just kind of sees Elizabeth just sort of meld, just sort of adjust to the mood, and just sort of and just sort of like adopt and take on this persona like pretty instantly. It's a little jarring for like to sort of like as a kindred watching a kindred sort of become kind like that you've sort of gotten familiar to, like, but to everyone else they're just like, like the party has arrived, like they just like, as a Toreador you just have this sort of natural sort of like magnetism to you, and now you're in your zone, and now you've got the blush of life working, like you even you've roused your blood, you're using your beast for good. So yeah,
Almost enviable.
Rather than use it to steal a t-shirt.
Hey,
There's no crime too small.
Use your beast for magnets, not thievery.
We'll see who ends up with more swag at the end of the night.
We got ourselves a new mini game.
there we go. I love it. This is the stuff you can't plan for when you GM. This is why RPGs are the best. So you approach this sort of like better bar where everyone's kind of gathered around this individual in the flannel.
Yeah, and Buddy in the flannel, he was kind of like a gatekeeper of sorts.
He's inside the bar, at the bar. He's got that lean, like he's half sitting on the bar stool. He's kind of leaning on the bar. He's got the usual. There'll be a quiz on this, what the usual is. He's got the PBR 16-ounce tall boy in one hand, taking swigs from it like mid-sentence, as he like when he would be catching his breath, he's drinking. And then like seems to be telling a story. He's got just like 3 or 4 people, not like a huge crowd, but they're laughing, and as some people like kind of go in and out of the booth, they're like, "Wait, is that Adam?" And then they just kind of say stuff like that, and then like kind of keep moseying. And in the presence of celebrity, people have a couple different responses. One of them is the like that can't really be a celebrity type response, right? And you just don't think you're in the presence of it, and then you have the people who freak out. So you got like 4 people around him, kind of talking to him.
I'll ask Pix if this guy looks familiar to what she knows.
Do I recognize him from the various rants I've heard from Francis?
Not from from the posters you stole from Francis. This isn't Momentum Mori. This isn't a Momentum Mori guy. This is somebody else. Maybe one of the opening acts. Maybe maybe one of the 2 opening acts from the. If you were in the city if either of you were in the city longer, I would make a joke, but I won't. I can't. That would be metagaming.
Alas. But all this you don't look at Elizabeth and say, oh, he's no one special. He's probably just an opening act. Maybe a bouncer.
Gotcha. Well, let's go see what he's about. See what where it gets us.
Well, let's be easier to butter up. No biggie.
All right. So you mosey up like it is impossible for Adam not to notice this duo. Like you've like the
no hot chick and the ugly friend.
And like just like sort of like they laugh and like yeah anyway, oh hey how's it going? He just kind of says like a little taken aback by the dynamic duo, the contrast of just the dichotomy of it all. Almost like that's a premise of the campaign.
Well, yeah, man, but we're just chilling, honestly, getting in the scene. Like, you guys ready to hear Mori play or what? Because, like, I am so down for some good tunes. Been a while since I've been in one of these things. I've been attending live streams for the most part.
I can't believe they're here. I mean, they're icons on the scene, right?
Right? Like, I got into one, they were still underground, so it's like seeing them here.
Did you hear them before Athena?
Oh, yeah, before Athena. Like, it was like the month before, because, like, my friends and I'm bullshitting this, but I gotta feed in somewhere.
I think you're rolling a manipulation right now.
I am. For manipulation and subterfuge. Good, is he gonna call me up for being a fake fan? We'll see.
Oh, it's a poser. He's just got it on quick draw. He's like about to call you a poser.
Subterfuge. Come on, please roll well. That's one success.
He doesn't buy that you're an OG Momentum Mori fan. He's no, you come on, like everybody. It's okay to be honest. look, Athena's Momentum Mori. Like, yeah, nails shreds, no doubt. But Athena's Momentum Mori.
Oh yeah, man. She like whole spirit of things. She is death incarnate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a siren, right? And he just kind of like looks different, like you just said the deepest thing in the world. He's like, he's like, I'm Adam. He says, guitarist for Grave War, no big deal.
Oh, Grave War. I haven't heard of him. I'll have to add
Or
to my
bassist?
list,
No,
Oscar.
sorry. This is a bassist. This is big bassist
bassist.
vibes.
I was gonna say, like, Atari, he's got
I
a
just
little
pissed
too
off
much
a bunch of
insecurity.
people in chat, gang.
I know we're gonna lose it, but watch as we lose all our
Yeah, we just lost all our likes and subscribes. Or if you loved that joke, click like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, my name's Pixie. Call me Pix, and she'll extend a gnarled hand and shake it.
Yeah, he's unfazed, like rock. Like
Rock and roll.
but like so you get like you look like a burn. Does it extend to your hands? You look kind of like a burn victim, or enough to be in the plausible.
Yeah, that's a weird Sphinx cat look, like bone pulled over skin, kind of wrinkly, kind of weird. Definitely smells like baby powder, but no biggie.
Yeah, all right. He's like, and he just like kind of like notices like your hand maybe a little bit. He's like, and he like looks at you. He's like, mosh pit.
Mosh pit.
Yeah, I had a friend. He says. So shakes your hand and he's like, and who's your friend?
Of course, he moves on to the hot friend. Oh, that's Elizabeth. You might have heard of her, actually. She's a big musician, but I don't think she needs me to introduce her.
Gonna roll to see if he's heard of her. I'm gonna roll to see if he pretends he's heard of her. It's like,
the ugly one's a poser. We gotta see if this one's worth it.
He's like, just not a. He's like, sorry, different scenes, I guess. He says, you from Milwaukee?
Must be. No, I'm from out west.
West.
I mean, don't feel bad though. Not
Oh,
everyone
like
here
Minneapolis.
is, but further west.
Oh. Fargo?
You're thinking way too small, my friend.
Seattle.
Close. We'll go with that. Yeah, I'm just here with my friend. She's the one that's into the band. Just figure I'd tag along to see what everything was about.
Right on. He's just like kind of looking around. He's like, you're the huge fan. He seems to be contemplating something, but you can see in his face, seems to be thinking about something. Like, bad idea. He's like, can I get you drinks?
No, thank you. I've got one already, and I'll lift up my glass to kind of try that point home.
Right. You see, like, some person, like, kind of come out one of the hallways over, like, that's off, sort of beyond the bar. It's still up top, but it kind of retreats to an exterior wall, sort of thing. Adam! Sound check! Guy says. He's like, let the roadies do it, dude. No, the last time we let the roadies do it, you flipped out. And they just kind of like, I gotta go. He's like, y'all wouldn't want to go backstage, would you?
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a dream come true.
All right, come on. And like,
You're not going to get in trouble, though, right?
yeah.
This is okay?
Nah, Milwaukee's my scene. He just kind of smiles.
Also helps that you're hot, so.
Shh.
So you lead back like what I can only describe as the angry drummer, the responsible one in the band, even though they're the most often replaced, sometimes by a freaking machine. So you've now met the bassist for Grave War, the hardcore punk band from Kenosha. Sorry, Kenosha, I'm just making fun of you guys tonight. And it sort of leads back to, we're gonna cut downstairs. All right. He just does the like there with me type thing, and you start sort of like to be led backwards, and we go downstairs. Elizabeth and Pix kind of, you guys everybody made a plan, and they, headed upstairs kind of quickly, and y'all sort of lingered a moment, enough to get this distinct vibe you're being watched, but from like everywhere, like simultaneously.
So Sal has this cool thing called Sense the Unseen. Free to activate whenever there's something supernatural hiding in plain sight. The storyteller makes a hidden roll of wits plus auspects. However, if I'm actively searching, you would make resolve plus auspects. Similarly,
I like my players to roll dice, so I'm going to allow you to roll them.
I can do that.
What is this, 80s D&D where I roll everybody's checks behind the screen? Get out of here. So.
And it's passive, and it's against. So, like, if it's a vampire trying to obfuscate, it's wits plus obfuscate.
Whatever. We're good. You notice something sort of like flit in your peripheral, and then head into the ballroom. You don't quite catch a glimpse of it, but as you sort of like see this sort of rapid, you can't even quite make it out yet. Just very quick. You also sort of like for the first time look at the walls, and every wall in the Rave has this sort of like thing going on where you can see it's almost like there's sort of like a film or a surface or like a filter on it, and you swear you see them just sort of like maybe writhing or shifting or something. It's really weird. Every time you sort of stop to look at them, it's like you just catch and then like you kind of blink and they kind of come into focus. It would be similar if like if you were drunk, yeah, okay. But you're kindred.
So I was going to go a level deeper, just to see if it's because something Akawa said as he left about, this place is more dangerous than it used to be, and has a reputation for being haunted. So I'm going to use the binding fetter. So I activate it. There's not a roll, but I become kind of supernaturally attuned to the energy of fetters. So I would identify any of those auras in this place.
So,
and then I get distracted from like everything else around me. So I'm -2 to any awareness, wits, resolve. So
would you like to describe what a fetter is? I feel like it's been a lot of me talking. I can.
Yeah. So the world of the dead, like spirits, they have these binds to the mortal world, the material world, and it is through these fetters that a necromancer can eventually bind and control, summon these entities.
Right.
But in this case, the way that Oblivion kind of works, this is just the sensation. I imagine it's almost like the rest of the world becomes washed out, and you see these lights and you feel the draw or the energies of these things here in the world.
So, you activate this. It's kind of like the classic horror trope where like there's always like a haunted object or a haunted effigy, or that's the anchor, right? And so you do this. You sort of like the whole party watches Saul just kind of do a double take of the walls once, and then he just intense focus, more intense than usual for Sal. And so it's very visible, very distinct to the party. Sal, first thing, that sheen to the walls becomes the walls. They're all like, they go gaunt and colorless, and they're almost like this sort of like creeping wave form, almost like when you see like drawings of like radio waves, when they actually draw them out and stuff, like scrunched together, tightly packed, and like just going vertical, just these sort of like waves. But it's like a solid surface, even though you can see them like these waveforms moving and stuff. Furthermore, virtually anywhere you glance, you can see sort of wisps and almost like sort of silver strands coming out of pretty much any fixed object. If it's not the bar or the bottles, if it hasn't been built onto it, it is giving off these sort of strands that just sort of like seem to go up and infinitely down. And when you look into the ballroom, you're like, it gets just white hot bright. For a moment, like, you almost feel a physical impact as your eyes look on, and like you got punched in the face staring into the ballroom.
So
Like, I'd say even the party like sees out like snap back as it just gets.
What did you see there, compadre?
this entire place, every inch of the stonework, calling to something or connected to something. And then if you guys knew Salvatore more, you would probably see kind of the wheels turning in his head as he's thinking how he can potentially at some point commune with this place or these spirits. Is it's kind of that the first time where you've probably witnessed like oblivion calling to him, and that draw is stronger probably than any other draw other than hunger itself.
Yeah. You've seen Sal's Beast. This is wild. Something somewhere else, but like anchored within it. It's a gravity well calling to him. If the beast is an animal, this is an unknowable force.
The endless night.
Ben, you're familiar with some woo-woo stuff, with some magic as a Tremere. I think you could probably roll an occult to kind of piece together what you've just witnessed into cult.
Cult, you say?
Move back onto the chat here. Critical success. You're familiar that Hakata do stuff with the dead. You just witnessed like oblivion, and you also sort of get the weight of it from him. Like it's a 1-to-1 conversion rate. If you understand that this is like a nexus for oblivion or ghostly energy or whatever, and by his description, it is it might be a unique sort of nexus. Something that might bear some research or something, or asking around, or like, this isn't just like a normal haunted place. This was built for a purpose. In your research in the city of Milwaukee, you know that a Toreador once upon a time kind of took control of the Rave, whose name escapes me currently. I think it's actually in my Rave notes here. Journal page. Louis, a French Toreador, took control of the Rave and has kind of been in control of it for a long while. You understand that Louis went into torpor some time ago, when around the time Decker was coming to power, just from your like research and being in the city. And this is kind of like would have been the stuff I feel like you would have been looking into, occult stuff, right? So you understand that that Louis sort of bought this place from its Gein builders, supposedly. Legend goes that the Rave was built by Gein, but the Toreador allowed them to build it with the Toreador's future in mind. So there you go.
All right. Now we have Suspicious Singer in a very suspicious building, full of all sorts of suspicious shit. What could go wrong?
You hear the sound check, like right, just like what could go wrong, and you just mic check, mic, and like mic check what, and like they start doing their thing, and
I was waiting for the lights to flicker.
yeah, the lights are going on and off in the ballroom. So, I mean, you can head into the ballroom. You can try to like sneak around on the backstage and the ground level. There's supposed to be a pool and a bowling alley in this place. Weird, deceptively big, huh? Like, and all kinds of stuff. So there's other access points on the ground floor.
I'm gonna try to get Sal and Cass and I invited into the area where the pool is.
All right. How do you do this?
Sal is gonna be my hired security for this, and Cass is a prospective something.
That can be your body man, no problem.
So you've got, like I said, like you've got the bouncers sort of set up, security, whatever, set up throughout. I guess technically they're more on the side of security than bouncers, because it's like an official venue with official, bouncers just kind of like at a bar or whatever. So you got like security kind of set up. They all have their little like, like little fake badges or whatever, stitched onto their uniforms, and they're in black, plain black polos with the stitched on badge. And you can kind of see where they're set up, kind of to try to like cordon off people from the access points into sort of like the sort of wings of this area, and then the sort of area that would like kind of take you around the ballroom.
So as we get closer to the bouncers and we get to the access to other areas, I'm going to go ahead and start using awe.
Okay. You want to sort of give a quick description for the audience what awe does?
Awe essentially makes you a more charismatic, more approachable person. It's kind of like you're the cool kid in school with your friends around you.
So yeah, at Humanity 6, you just prohibited from doing certain things, but you're not to Humanity 5. so
Not yet.
The night is still young.
Yeah. I like
Oh,
that Humanity
no.
5 says you suffer only 1 dice penalty to like everything. Oh no, 4 it's 2 dice, but only 1 dice penalty to everything at 5. So
I'm just waiting to mess up a hunger roll because I'm good like that tonight. Every hunger roll we've made in the last 2 games, and even like just messing around on the side, like Rousing checks and stuff, failed all of that. So we're off to a good start.
What's your hunger at right now?
Thankfully, it's only 1.
Okay, I was about around 3, like 2. You're like 1. You're certainly packaged. You're like I can eat. I can eat. And you're like someone walks. Yeah, like I'm not really. I'm not really feeling. And then like vampire canon for like likening various kindreds to whatever meal thing joke they would make, right? But no, it's like at 1 year it's that like you're arguing with your significant other about where to eat out at, right? Like that's 1. 2, you have a craving. And 3, it doesn't matter. You just first place, go eat, like type thing. And then 4, the beast, you're starting to become like paralyzed essentially with the beast, and 5, the beast basically takes over. So that's the sort of scale in a metaphor for to translate for folks. At 1, you kind of like looking at the bouncer. You're like, huh, nah. You walk up. Staff only, says, and he like holds up the hand. And he doesn't like touch it, just like holds it up before you get in the zone, right?
So I just came here to talk to a couple of my friends that are interviewing some bands back there for local band and club stuff, and just need to talk to them for a few minutes.
What are these friends' names? You just
Elizabeth and Pix, they were with bands in the backstage area. They were interviewing one of the bands, the local.
He is surprised you recalled names that fast. He like you see him like look up, and he's like, "Is there a Pix?" I mean,
Power couple.
Do you have some
recognize
sort
it
of
from-
do you have some sort of verification? He's like, okay, and he like calls in. He's like, talk. You go to guy here says you talk to Pix and Victoria. Was it Victoria?
I think she said it was Elizabeth. I don't know. My boss just gave me this thing.
And Elizabeth. Meta joke.
And I'm just gonna throw them the VIP ticket saying, "This is all they gave us. They didn't give us the press thing for this."
Well, you're trying to convince him. It's not like quite a full-on lie, so I think we're going to persuade here. He's a little on your side.
So all would give me 2 extra dice, and I'm not sure how to use that in Foundry yet.
I'll just roll
So
2. Can you roll just 2 more dice, like besides?
Let's try Persuasion and Charisma first and see what we get there.
So y'all don't have a little panel at the bottom of your screen, do you? Or
Yep.
You do have that. So you have this, because I can see Ben Sahar. And I'm wondering if I can't like add a bonus to it. That's just going to roll, isn't it? Yeah, that just rolls. Huh. All right. Well.
When you roll from your sheet, I think it gives you the ability to add a bonus. But
Okay.
we can play.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And then you've got 2 more dice to roll effectively, right? So you've got 2 successes right now. What's the command to just roll 2 dice? /R 1d
Space 2d10.
/2d10. Yeah, so you do that, or yeah.
Actually,
So you do that. Nice. For expediency's sake, you got 2 more successes. So yeah, he's like, oh, never mind. I'll find him. Yeah. Carl, left wing. Like he just like calls him like some gibberish. How they have there's a stuff zone. guy comes, you see moments later, he's like, so, first time at the Rave? Just now he has to be in customer service mode. Anyone who's worked in security that suddenly has to go outside their purview of being mean and suddenly be nice.
No, actually, I actually am a local.
That was me. I work security.
No, I know. What he's asking, like, okay.
After a moment, Carl comes over. He's like, all right, and he like goes over little badge thing that comes down off of the little zip line and beeps open the door, takes you, and he's like, he's at backstage. They're reporters. 1021, The Buzz, best rock station in Milwaukee, right?
I mean, they don't play my style, so maybe.
No, I mean your friends work for them.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm more of a, and this is a real radio station, hog fan myself. That's the name of the station. They play the heavier stuff, but also have the way worse hosts. Bunch of crusty old men.
Usually a problem.
So he just kind of winds you through. Are you trying to nudge or guide him? Are you trying to see a little bit more, like not necessarily meet up with the ladies? Like, what's the aim here? You've got awe on this. I mean, he's like, he likes you. You're his friend. Like, he's at that like the equivalent of like a Dungeons and Dragons charm, right? Like, he's not gonna, go outside of, his job description or whatever, but he likes you. You're an old friend. He's gonna help you out, right?
I'm just at this point just using him as just sliding by. I'm not trying to use him for anything else at this time.
Okay. All right. So then, for simplicity's sake, we're gonna do the classic the power couple has been like sort of winding through like some back hallways, and they come down some stairs, and you'll recognize that. Pix and Elizabeth find out that the pool is actually on the second level as you pass that, like kind of coming through, and you all sort of end up in the sort of mid-tier, like sort of back level, roughly back on the first floor, but there's like a couple like steps. You're kind of like up half a floor type thing, right? And you both end up like sort of up half a floor, just by happenstance, round the different corners, and like, got Adam, with or no, I think we're gonna do a little bit of a time jump. Adam will have since he's out on stage doing the sound check, and he's just kind of left y'all to meander around the backstage area. So you've got like, the curtain, we can like look out into the ballroom. And then you've got like all the various equipment, a lot of electrical stuff, a lot of wires, a lot of switches and stuff. Immediately, I think Pix and Elizabeth would notice that Sal is a little bit more intense than usual. Like, normally he's like, I'm going to break your legs intense, and now he's like, I'm actually going to kill you intense. Like, it's cranked up a little bit.
We do not need a fight. Breaking out, we just got backstage.
So backstage is just like, it's like all road crew. It's all like, they don't really have security back here, and the security is like, well, behave, he says, and he just kind of gets awkward and leaves.
No promises.
And he just like flashes a smile to to the pretty one, and
I'll be sure to give him a big toothy grin right back, and see you, hot stuff.
Fucking punk rockers, he says. Is he like? And then he disappears around the corner from where he came. So yeah, you're all backstage. So you have essentially sort of like the off and up, and then you have the sort of back and down. And the back and down is like the path that you haven't really taken. And there's just roadies meandering. You see some other, other folks, like assortments of kind. They've got their like big backstage passes. Elizabeth and Pix, you have since been given backstage passes, so you have like the classic lanyards. Someone in Adam's crew like hooked y'all up. I don't know. Did Elizabeth have the foresight to ask for 3 extra just in case? No. Okay, perfect.
No,
This is
no.
what it's better this way anyway. And yeah, so there you are.
So this was my initial plan to get back here, but after seeing Sal having all these like weird moments and Cass having all these weird moments, I'm like, I don't think my initial plan is going to work because we're required leaving those two by themselves, and that would seems bad.
So my previous description, I'm going to reset it just a little bit. The stage itself is like offset, sort of like 3/4 of the way back in the ballroom, which is like a perfect ellipse. And then the way they have the scaffolding set up and the little like makeshift stage stuff, it sort of extends the rest of that sort of quarter distance. So you are currently technically in the ballroom, and I don't know, is your Oblivion like one scene? So you're like still tripping balls.
It's the scene.
Yeah. Okay. So you like Sal is in here. It's like, again, it's the whiteout, but kind of like stepping out into like really bright sunlight. Your eyes have adjusted just a little bit, and so you can start to make out shapes and stuff again. That's like, oh, like Elizabeth, obviously from the height, just towering over the rest of of the, we don't say coterie yet, so the party. You can make out like Pix kind of doing her cat thing, and you've been close to the rest of the party already, and then you can make out these like rough shapes and clutches, and everything's just like sort of like backlit with this super intense sort of white light, and then like everything that you can make out the shapes for is sort of washed to gray as they blot out this burning light. And like I said, you have adjusted a little bit so you can start to make out the shapes again. I'm going to increase your penalty by 1 more die, just because of this particular place.
And one note, if at all I see any more specific beacons or any kind of individual entity that I can separate out from the noise, certainly would be looking for that. I mean, I'm only like cursorily taking anything else in except for kind of surveilling and looking about, and probably look like somebody who's spaced out on like acid or something at this point.
So you're actually kind of recall that you had seen something sort of flit into the ballroom. And this is at the point where you sort of like glance out from the little peak in the curtain you can see, in sort of dead center of the ballroom, there's a sort of two-dimensional sort of black ink tar sort of stretched thin and tall into the rough shape of a disturbingly tall human. Like 8 feet tall, like just this ink blot like stretch, and it's just absorbing the light so you can make out the shape almost in stark contrast, and it almost makes it seem two-dimensional.
I'll focus my attention there and pay very little attention to the rest of my new friends.
Oh. So you like turn full body to it, and the party sees this.
And geez, first cast no hand. Like, I think Pix would go over and just shake his arm, like, dude, you on something? You okay? What's going on? Do you see Athena?
I see something entirely different than Athena.
Like, what, her ghost? Dude, you look like you're tripping.
Dead people.
I'm looking beyond into the endless night.
Yeah. Could you put that in English, please?
Spirits. They're all over this place.
Oh. Right.
Bad vibes, kid.
I mean, you're telling me? Jesus. Are they gonna, like, attack us? Is this gonna be a poltergeist moment? I don't think that's the thing that Dagger
No.
wants to hear.
They're just connected to this place. And there's one in the middle of the ballroom that stands out from all the others.
Oh shit, we got a ghost leader. Do you think it'd be weird if we tried to talk to it or do whatever your ghosty presty presto is?
I need to know who it is. I need a picture, a signature, something.
Might be worth looking around then. Okay, maybe, just maybe, Athena knows something.
Have you found her yet?
No sign, just some mediocre band, I'll say. I mean, they let us backstage, but they can't be that bad. But maybe there's some grand performance or whatnot. Maybe it'll. Oh, jeez, I don't know how ghosts work. Maybe they'll start singing and dancing and explaining to us in a nice song sequence.
In the whole conversation, Sal didn't look down at Pixie or break from staring out into the center of the ballroom.
Oh, that is spooky.
It's sort of like oblong, sort of stretched like melted wax form that must be its head, sort of turns, and in this sort of craned, just unnatural twist, this sort of 2D plane faces you, and it's like the whole room sort of rotates with it, so that that 2D plane is sort of like in this half space between you, and you're staring at this two-dimensional plane, like I said, but this head twists at you, and it makes everything just sort of like twist behind it, like a 2.5 dimensional game, and this fucking head is all that's in focus for you now. No
Salvatore's
features.
head just kind of tilts and looks back, kind of askew.
It notices you, and it doesn't feel right. The rest of this stuff is pretty serene. You know, like it's Oblivion. It's out there. It's ghosts are a mixed bag. This isn't right. Like an intruder. And you start to hear these like sort of like whispers. Indistinct, you can't make them out. They're emanating from it, but they're in your ears. And then you hear the classic line. Leave now.
Leave now?
Leave now, son of Gein.
And Sal will just kind of whisper that out loud as he hears it, so that the others can hear it.
I think Pixie's hands are just gonna drop from Sal's arm as she hears that. Like, this is too much paranormal activity for one night. I've gotten out of my shell and just... What?
Maybe we should bail.
I mean, we need to talk to Athena. We need to...
Let's grab her and go then.
At that moment,
Mm-hmm.
through all that, I kind of seen what Sal was going through. I didn't pay much attention to it. I don't get involved with the supernatural, despite being supernatural. I'm going to find the nearest roadie, kind of grab him quickly, like not using any kind of anything, just natural charm. Grab him, ask him quickly, where's Momentum Mori? Where's the room at?
Looks down at the VIP pass, takes in your sort of general presence, and just, stage left, down, third door.
Awesome, thank you. And I start moving on.
Carrying something, because roadies are always carrying something. Like, no problem. Just like...
Yeah, I start heading that direction.
All right. You see Elizabeth sort of beeline it towards these stairs.
Follow her.
Sal's fixed. He's lost. Like, he doesn't notice the party walk away.
Cass will like try to pull him along a little bit, like.
Yeah,
"Come on."
Pixie will do the same. Just on the
You
other
feel this
arm,
like
just-
pull, and it's like you're stuck in mud, like your physical body and the whole of you, and you feel this sort of like cold grip from beyond grab you by your shoulders on either side, the sort of slinky clawed fingers on the one, and the sort of hands of a soldier, from a time unknown on the other, and just sort of begin pulling you back. And your gaze stays locked, but do you go with the hands or do you stay in the moment?
I'll go with the hands.
All right. You sort of
I've
like
got time to crack this egg.
you kind of like pulled away, and like you see it, and then it's so that head sort of twisted, its whole body twists, and just again the room rotates with it, and now it's all like just that 2D plane again, and so that 2.5D space, and it just stays on you, and it's sort of as you disappear and descend into below the stairs, and like kind of head back down again. You still see the white creeping up, but you sort of also catch this sort of like tinsel now of black that sort of streaks through it, like when you crack a door and let just like a single line of light in, but the inverse. It reminds you somehow of those strands you saw that went infinitely up and infinitely down on the fixed objects in the lobby. Third door. You see, like papered up, like classically just Momentum Mori, piece of paper on the door. Do not disturb.
Yeah, but that's for kind, surely. You just walk in. Knock. I mean, at least knock, but...
Elizabeth, you're first to the door. The party had to. It's kind of like you and Ben are like kind of flanking, and like you're still wrestling. Salvatore. He's a, big, well built. He beat people up for a living until he earned his way to being a vampire. So,
First guy, kindred.
yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, got this far. Now what?
Well, awe is still on because it's still the scene. So awe is still on for Ben.
Do other kindred notice that?
It says it actually explicitly mentions like the differing effects on kindred versus kind. So let me just brush up real quick. Awe is presence, yes.
Yeah, it's level 1 presence.
Everything else is broken down all nicely, and then we just have this one thing that isn't. Let's see, reading. Click, 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 click. Sorry, everybody. I know that's really annoying if you're on headphones. Let's see. Add skill. Yeah, you're where you're being affected. You're like you kind of as kindred. You didn't see him. You kind of become like you can feel this. You have presence yourself, do you not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with presence. Like you kind of maybe at first, and you kind of do a double take. You're like, type thing.
All right, Ben. Why don't you take this one? I'll step behind him, kind of be behind him when he goes to knock on the door,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
I'll knock on the door.
Right. You hear some like you can hear like laughter, and there's like music kind of like going on inside, and you can hear like some drumming on a desktop and stuff, and like you hear some again people laughing, and then after a little minute, like someone opens the door, just sort of like woman in a pair of jeans, tall boots, you know it's could be winter, second winter. So she got like that cool shirt that my partner loves, where it's got like the thumb things, and she calls it something special. It's made out of really cool cloth, and it's super warm, but it's really thin too. So like she's got that on. I can't remember. It's got a specific name. Chat gang, tell me. She's rocking one of those. Nice Wisconsin chill, casual evening garb, but otherwise unremarkable. And opens the door, like looks you up and down. Yeah.
Hi, I have an interviewer for Athena.
You're still working the presence. Oh, like that makes perfect sense to her. Of course you do. She opens the door and like she just like but I don't work here. She says I'm just. She holds up the VIP lanyard, or like the special premium deluxe meet the band lanyard.
I hope you're having fun. We're just here to interview Athena for local band.
She's already like, she's gonna kind of open the door and stepping aside, but she doesn't like, she's not really like taking onus of the situation. She was just the person close to the door when somebody said, "Open the door and see who that is," and your presence trumped whatever other directives she might have had beyond open the door and see who it is. She's just in awe of you right now. She's like backing away from the door, kind of holding it.
Athena in here?
Quick scan of the room. Again, the room's deceptively large. It's got like a full on like sort of makeup. The makeup station is just like an old vanity from like the 1960s that's been pushed up against the wall with a mirror and some light fixtures around it. You see like couches and stuff like that, and you see a little crafty table. Meaning food and snacks and stuff like that. It's all just pretty like decently pimped out for like your headlining act. You get the big room with the swanky with the swanky spread of food, the comfy chairs, the comfy couches, a place to like have your instruments in practice, a little small gathering. It's classic backstage VIP hang.
Sure.
And you pick out Athena like actually sitting over on like one of the couches. She's got a pair of headphones on, and she's currently like got a book, and she's like sitting down, like she's like looking at the book, and you can maybe see her lips move as she does like little like light vocal warm ups, and then she's just sort of reading.
What book?
Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
Some Nietzsche, okay. Some Jim Morrison going on here.
So.
All right, well, I guess we'll start making our way towards Athena.
Meet the cast. Sam's a philosophy graduate. So you see Athena reading a book, just kind of like nodding along and like, singing a little bit. You see the book is like kind of banged up. Like looks like it might have been sitting on the desk next to her or something. She just grabbed and started reading. Maybe it is hers. Maybe it's her favorite book. You don't know, but it is a little bit beat up. Shows its age. Hardcover. And then the band's all in here. You recognize Athena, Pix. You recognize Athena kind of immediately. She's got kind of similar to Decker. She's not doing much, but like she's a very striking figure. She's got like just these sort of like deep welled features. Like they're very like you can just like her face is just like it's just she's just born with just like every feature of her face is pronounced. Cheekbone. And then it's just this whole presence about her. She's wearing like just kind of like a pretty classic like sort of like goth rocker tattered like long long skirt with like a couple extra layers to it. She's got like a sort of like a staged costume, sort of like corset piece. And then since asymmetry is awesome, like it's got like buckles and stuff on one side and like half a like jean jacket on the other. Just sort of again like just goth rock punk, like glammed up a little bit. As one might expect. Has her hair currently up and back, just kind of like waiting to be let down, so that it's got that like super wild, awesome, like Susie and the Banshees look going on. But right now it's kind of getting its form, so that it'll hold when she lets it down. And yeah, but and people have kind of given her space though. But again, she just stands out. She's one of those people like that, like her physique was built to sing. Like just like so.
Like she's a natural Christine Daae.
Yeah, there's I mean like like you can like just the lips are a little bit more pronounced. The jawline just a little bit wider, a little like I said, just like she is built for this. And then the only other sort of band member of note that isn't like drawn in like light gray shadows, or where the artwork is a little bit like they had the second artist draw it. The only other band member of note that you would recognize, Pixie, is the founding member. That's the only one that's left. Is the man named Nails. He has the classic Ministry style dreadlocks, or Rob Zombie style dreadlocks, right? Like where you're not sure if it's because he doesn't keep his appearance up well, or if he's doing that on purpose, type thing. He's wearing a jean jacket with patches all over it. The jean jacket looks about as old as the Rave. It's completely lost like any meaningful pigmentation beyond little splotches of blue left over, right? It's frayed completely at the cuffs. It's lost a button on the other, and you see the patches all over, like the classic anarchy, like huge anarchy symbol that was cut off of a T-shirt and then stitched onto the jean jacket, and then just like Dead Kennedys, Black Sabbath, like just all the greats. You see like even like a Parliament Funkadelic on the side, because hell yeah, Eddie Hazel. And so he's and then he's sort of like, apart from like just this like kind of oversized ancient jean jacket that tells a legacy of rock and or roll, kind of unremarkable. Like beyond that, just jeans, maybe some Chuck Taylors. He's got some like pageantry to his hair, like bandanas or little trinkets and stuff, but otherwise like jeans and t-shirt, Chuck Taylors. He's got a guitar on his lap that looks like an axe, like in the shape, and it's sort of gnarled.
Metal.
And he's got the duct tape guitar that's like all duct tape sitting next to him. He's already like tuned that one. None of the strings are cut off the top. A bit of trivia: once upon a time, they called him the Gothic Morello, or as in like Tom Morello. But he faded into obscurity back in the '90s. Like was supposed to be something, never turned it into anything. His band Momentum Mori faded into nothingness, and then Athena joined. Everybody in the band changed except for him, so it's just Nails and Athena, and then just people. They just had auditions, and the best drummer they could find, they got. The best bassist they could find, they got. The best keyboarders, that sort of thing, right?
I'm gonna make a mental note to see if I can get him to sign that chapstick. Prince deserves a little gift, but right now we got Athena to deal with.
Yeah, Nails, fingernails, rainbow colors like a badass.
Hell yeah!
So,
Lot to compare.
Cass, you look at Nails, and you have this like weird moment of deja vu staring at him, and he looks at you, and just like does the head nod, like has this moment of like maybe he's vibing the same thing, and then like immediately it's clear he's not. And then he goes back to tuning the literal axe guitar. You can see him do like a little like riff on it, like real quick, and then like he sets that aside, and then he grabs like his acoustic next. For when they slow it down near the end of the show, right? They bust out the acoustics. Y'all have access. You like you're here.
I was gonna say, out of character stuff. As far as like approaching this, I was gonna go turning awe off.
Okay.
Because I don't want her to get the wrong impression if she does pick up on awe that she's being manipulated in any way.
Yeah, there's often a role associated with seeing if you pick up with like with something like that. But in terms of party members, I tend to I don't like party members often rolling against each other unless it's something very deliberate. So I just kind of so.
Because I don't want to get off on the wrong foot with this
Yep.
person. And also because, Charlotte, you are natively a better persuader and social and toreador.
In person.
I would let you lead any discussion with her from here once I turn awe off, because I'm a lot less good at it than you once awe is off.
Such a weird combination of words. Turn awe off. Turn off.
There's been a couple
right?
of those tongue twisters tonight. I usually have a very good diction and a cadence and like enunciation, and there's been a couple where like I can never pronounce that stupid Nietzsche book, and I like tried. I went for it. I'm like I'm going for it.
Sal knows his place in this room. He just kind of fills the door.
Yeah. So there's kind of before a show, but the vibe in here is about as chill as it gets. They're the band members. I mean, you basically make the drummer do it, right? So the drummer is doing most of the meet and greet, and like Athena, shakes people aside, and they interrupt. It looks like they take more than a couple times to kind of get her out of whatever she's zoning in, if it's absolutely necessary. But most people seem to take the social cue, like when like they want Athena's autograph, right? And they're like, well, maybe ask her later, and and then they go around like, oh, Nails, and like they go over to Nails, and like he's just like, just gives the head nod. Nails doesn't speak a lot. In fact, the whole time you've been in here, he hasn't said anything.
Interesting.
He seems like chill enough. Little intimidating if you meet him on the streets with all the tats and the and the hair and the jacket that is as old as America, but beyond that.
Are there any empty chairs in the room?
Yeah, there's a sprawl of chairs. There's some. Athena's actually got like sort of 2 full cushions of couch available next to her, but nobody seemed to have taken them up. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to. Right on the couch.
All right.
Walk right up, plop my ass down, and pull one of my feet up.
How close? Do you give her the buffer cushion between, or do you go for the cushion in the middle?
Not a monster.
Okay, I want to know how. Okay.
Well, Pix is a socially awkward monster, so she's gonna plop right down there and just full
Right in
front
the middle.
feet. Oh, that's all gross.
Athena, even like the couch like bobs lightly, kind of like in that sort of like cascading effect. She's in her own zone. She doesn't even seem to like react to it at first.
Gonna give her a minute and just not awkwardly stare, but
Yeah, see if like she
stare.
comes out of the book zone, right? Like, and you actually hear her do some vocal. You can hear kind of muttering some vocal stuff as she's reading, and then like mid vocal thing, she'll read something from the book, and then like state of a man is, and then she goes, many mumbling mice are making midnight music in the moonlight, and she kind of goes through like vocal exercises and switches back and forth, me do do do, like, and like you see her do scales and like as she's reading, and it takes her like, how long are you willing to wait?
I guess after a minute or two of her doing her vocal exercises, I will just like look at Pix and say, yeah, you know what? I like music. I'm good at music, but I can never sing. So I'm kind of envious of people who can.
So like, right as it gets super awkward, that's the exact moment she suddenly notices people, and like, she looks over. She kind of gives a little bit of like a timid smile, like, the one hand up, and she's wearing the actually like really old school headphones where it's just foam and then just a metal, like a single metal band, and you actually see that it goes down to a yellow cassette deck. and it's got like masking tape over it, and it says like a date. And then
Oh, she's definitely a vampire. That's boomer material.
it's from the 80s. It like the date on the it's like 4585. And she sets it, and like she takes the one ear. Do I need to sign something?
No, we just had a few questions. We're doing an article on your band being here.
I thought the interview was tomorrow at Comet, but and she looks around for like a bookmark, like doesn't find one, looks down, and goes with the pro move. Looks at the
Does
page
Ben
number.
have a card?
Ben does have a card. And I will hand her a
Because she
card.
ain't going to fold that fucking page.
No, she was looking at the page number. She was going for the gangsta move of remembering the page number. She was going to bait the dog ear and then go for the page number memorization, which is like gangsta. I could never pull it off. Like that's like, but all right. So like right as she's like you see her like actually like sing the page number to herself. Like Ben comes in with like the card. And she's like, doesn't even look at the card, just like, oh, bookmark. That's what that does. Just closes it, sets it on the little stand next to her. And she kind of turns to face you, and she's got a little bit of like a little bit of a timid sort of presence to her, like kind of hands folded in, legs folded toward inward. She doesn't seem like. Pix has seen probably like, oh, look at her, and when your friend Francis has insisted on showing you YouTube videos of how well she wails. She commands the stage, like the room, like folds around it like an MC Escher painting when she is on the stage. This is a different person, like, some people are like that. I've known actors and actresses like this in my drama days, but so she just, go ahead. I'm an open book, and she gives a smile as she sets the book down on the desk.
Kind of off camera stuff. Would Pix know if she was in any other bands prior to this?
No. Pix
Would
knows
I?
fan
Like
level knowledge. Fan level knowledge. She was not in a band prior to this. You would know that she's from Dublin, Ohio.
Oh. Oh god, yeah, Francis will just like talk and be about constant. But I think like Pix is gonna pick up on the nervous energy, but we also, we have to crack that egg. Like we're here because of Decker. But like, oh yeah, I mean really, it's real simple. Just involves a residency here. Does the name Decker ring a bell?
She searches for it. Was that like a doctor? Ganked by Doggo.
Puppy!
That's worth a like and subscribe alone.
No, I'll show off mine in the background.
Yeah.
Not a doctor, exactly. I'm more like just someone very interested in your presence, Sierra.
Oh, like a fan. Yeah, there's I'm really surprised at how like nice Milwaukee is. I mean, I know the Midwest is supposed to be nice and everything, but it's just people here are really kind, and I didn't expect it to have like this. I mean, it's just it's not what I expected from Wisconsin. It's like a real city.
Right? I mean, I came down here up here from New Mexico. It's a whole bunch of stuff, but as like, she's answering this, I kind of give a look over to Elizabeth like I was trying to hide purposely, and even she doesn't know who Decker is, which I knew, even knowing going in. And no doubt starting to be cast in my face. Like, she's gonna, like, help me look here. I want to preach the masquerade. Oh yeah, this city's real welcoming.
So what have you done before joining Momentum Mori?
She tease like one of like the bangs that come out of the little like rig, and she just kind of like moves it kind of behind her ear. She's like, I was actually it's gonna sound cliche, but I was a teacher, high school, English, and drama instructor, on the side. Just teaching doesn't pay anymore.
It's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
So would you say this is a step up or a step down to what you're doing before?
Oh, I love it. I was made to sing. I just
And-
I never thought a rock band. I don't like I wasn't I didn't you don't think of Dublin, Ohio as rock capital USA, but actually a lot of good bands came out of Ohio, and it's kind of like unexpected and serendipitous. But I think I put a lot of me into Momentum Mori too, and Nails. We have a chemistry. Like he lets me be me, but like he helped me grow into the rock thing. And she's like smiles. I wanted to be like Christina.
Aguilera?
Yeah, her jazz phase, like when she went to Argentina, for like a few years, just kind of disappeared after the pop stardom, and she came back, and had like really discovered soul and jazz. Like I mean, and who doesn't love beautiful?
I mean, you have your own unique sound as it is. How long have you been here in Milwaukee playing?
Oh, this is our first time. Our 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 booker Tomlin, our manager, she looks around for this Tomlin, doesn't see him. Tomlin said we got to play the Rave. He said that this is the he kept calling it the Kingmaker moment, and weird turn of phrase, but he said it would. It's weird superstitious crap. I don't buy it, but honestly, I'm finding out that I just auditioned on a whim, and they loved it, and I mean it's all been a whirlwind.
How long have you been? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, really? I mean, you're like the face of the band. Like, don't get me wrong, my friend Francis, he's super into your
Yeah,
sound and all
that's I mean that's Tomlin, right? Like he's the I don't know where Nails met him, but I don't think Nails isn't his real name, but he's never told me what it really is, so he's Nails. She kind of laughed.
Yeah, Tomlin, huh?
Yeah, he booked it. He talked about he just said that this is where a lot of the acts kind of catch their break, and thinks that we're right there. Like right, just that one, just takes that one right person hearing us, and he says they're gonna hear us in Milwaukee, and you don't believe it, but then you see all the like the Violent Femmes and all the bands that came out of here, and you just that came out of Milwaukee, or even people that they didn't get their start in Milwaukee, but they played the Rave like Fall Out Boy, and then suddenly everyone knew who they were.
Right. Oh, sorry for interrupting you, Elizabeth. Go right ahead.
No worries. Some people would call your singing enchanting. What's your secret?
I go somewhere else when I sing. It's silly, but not like it's not like when you read and like you just like you hit that moment where when you're reading you're really there. Like it's just words and pictures you've cobbled together from everything you've ever seen or known, or maybe maybe your favorite character is like a friend from high school, or they wear their face, or or an actor, but I go somewhere else, and when I'm there, I'm in charge. Everything surrounds me, and I am in charge of it all.
It's amazing. I think that answers all the questions that I had. As you can see, I had a few of my own, I guess, bandmates with me. They might have a question or two to help us round out the article. a few different voices kind of helps flesh it a little bit.
You know, it's funny because like everyone thinks I'm this big rock star, so we usually don't do the interviews like before the gig like this. Usually it's like one nerd in his basement with a microphone, or well, that's being disingenuous. Or over coffee, a lot of coffee. I don't really like coffee.
I bet it really plays havoc with your daytime life doing all these late shows, eh?
I'm a bit of a night owl. At least I've become one lately. I used to be up. I mean, teacher. You know, you never sleep.
Oh God, yeah, grading papers.
I sleep more now, but mostly during the day. I mean, I don't have to, but I kind of have to.
Cool. Anyone else?
Oh,
During this interview, kind of paying attention to see if she has any of the vampire not breathing, not whatever, and seeing how much she's paying attention to whatever that deep level of detail.
Yeah, and Cass would be using Scry the Soul on her as well.
Busted out all the big guns.
It's like we tried being nice. Tell us if you're dead.
Hang in there, Dobby. You got it, dog. He's a rescue. We didn't name him.
I was waiting for that.
Fuck Joanne. Sorry. Let's see. Scry the Soul. So you're gonna have to rouse.
Yep. I was able to.
Okay. Well, you always succeed
Right.
on activating. It's whether you get hungry
Right.
or not.
No, I don't get them.
So, composure. Go ahead and roll your. Go ahead and roll your check.
Three successes.
All right. Ties go to the player. All right, I'll answer one question. It's the emotional state of the subject, the resonance in the subject's blood, whether the subject is a vampire, werewolf, ghoul, or any other supernatural being, whether the subject is under the influence of blood sorcery or other magic, whether the subject has committed diablerie in the last year. Are you gonna ask whether she's supernatural or not?
No, actually. I want to know if she's under the influence of blood sorcery or other magic.
Yes.
All right.
All right, well, I think we're good here. We will leave you alone to get relaxed and rested before your show starts.
Yeah.
Luck.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy the show. All right. So I got it. He's being the director. I know, buddy. We're working. Give it a proper stopping point, dude. So the ultimate distraction. I'm trying to be a professional storyteller here. Quit being cute. Let me take him out real quick. 1 second, all right? And I'm just gonna put him on the lead, and I'll be right back, and we'll wrap up this chunk and exit properly on the adventure, because I know we've got our out here. So 1 second. I'm so sorry. He will not leave me alone.
Oh, it's so good. And I just got lucky here in the background. Oh, he's moved. Oh, he's just hanging out watching all this.
Yeah, I do not leave my door open because I got one cat that will not leave me alone.
Oh, I love kitties though. Look, Lucky's just a good boy. You're a good boy? Yes, you are. He cries if the door is closed, so thankfully he's got good stream etiquette. Yeah, you got good stream etiquette. Oh my, I'm genuinely shocked though that she's under the influence of blood magic. I've got theories, especially with this Tomlin person. I think she might just be a ghoul, honestly, and they might just be a Tremere or some shit. Like, actual Tremere, not Tremere, but...
Might be worth learning who writes their lyrics, because wasn't that one of Decker's concerns?
Oh yeah, definitely. So, like,
Yeah,
that's
but-
Tomlin as a person to look into.
Well, and nails.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Scry the Soul and Nails too.
Because
All right. Well, I'll follow up with that.
because reasons.
I'll
Reasons
follow
I
up.
can't.
Sorry.
I was gonna say because reasons I can't discuss it yet.
Reasons.
Reasons.
I will ask her that final question while you do your soul scrying bit to nails.
Okay.
And since Andrew's not here, we'll throw him way off.
I know, look at us, planning. Plotting as the GM even. So evil, so wicked.
Just for mirror things.
I know, I already feel like I'm part of the pyramid already.
This whole time, Salvatore's just been getting itchy about wanting to go look back at that thing in the ballroom.
It's like,
Gotta
guys,
have the
this place
gotta
is-
catch 'em all syndrome. They got the Pokemon Go going on right now.
This
Gotta
could
catch
be
'em
his
all.
ticket. This could be his big break.
Anybody that's not Giovanni or Hakata or whatever should not be supportive of the Endless Night. Just saying.
Ooh, we got some hot takes.
That's a fairly accurate statement.
I mean, if you're in supporting of ghost apocalypses that are run by the Hakata, sure.
The end of all things as we know it, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out they do have better PR than other clans. Just saying. Most people are like, oh, they're Italian.
they're
fine.
Italian. That's the worst thing about them. God forbid
I
they
mean,
were
he
French.
looks like a mobster. It's fine.
I think it's
It's
very
like-
interesting how they've consolidated like the criminal element to like the Puttanesca bloodline, and like they've been very calculated, like, and they're worried about this this agreement like coming up, because then they're projected right back into the midst of this conflict, and now they can kind of manipulate and do their own thing on the side.
Gaslight, gatekeep, Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni, they're bad people.
Yeah, they are.
So when you fill dead air with chatter, it's called vamping.
There's just a bunch of vampires vamping.
Industry term. So I hope y'all vamped successfully. And now let's get back to vamping.
All right, sorry, we had one more question before we were going to take off.
Yeah.
Who writes your lyrics?
Oh, I do.
Like, does anybody help you, or?
Inspiration. You're not gonna believe this. I was never really good at the lyric stuff. I've always been a strong singer. You know, singing is a skill. You develop it. It's like a muscle. If you've got a natural musculature, you know, it's easier to develop it. But I worked on it. I had a natural, great singer. I always struggled with the lyrics. And one day they just came to me. I was like, I got this gift from a student. It was a book, really weird book. Didn't really make much sense. But I read it, and just gibberish words. I mean, they were in English, but it was like they were just, you ever see like on like CSI when the killer sends a letter, they cut out the letters and they just put it on a page and instead of write it. It was like that, except the whole book was written that way. Not that they were cut out, but the whole book was just random words, all English. And then, I mean, I went to bed and I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't stop writing poetry, like real poetry, like, Shakespeare, like I teach the kids.
That must have been intense.
Really, thank you for sharing that experience with us. It's, the soul of the artist is in their work.
Which book? Castle just kind of butted.
Oh, I mean, it I don't even think it had a title on it. It's like it was printed on newsprint, like a cheap college magazine, like the kind they used to spread around, my brother's sci-fi clubs. Um, it didn't have a title. She actually, like, as if she's never thought about that before. It was just the text.
Also, at this point, Cass is going to start scrying the soul on nails. As well.
Just zone out on this poor woman while, like, you're interrogating her with your doll's eyes.
All right.
I make my other rouse check.
Yep. All right, roll it.
Only one success.
Willpower re-rolled 2 dice.
Oh, yeah, all right. I'll spin a willpower. That is 2 successes.
You scry this man's soul. You stare at him, and he stares back at you, and he gives a wry smile. And you are just like stonewalled. Doesn't say anything. Like, not only do you not succeed, you feel his force of will because he rolled so well, like, press back against your own. It wasn't that you spent that willpower, you lost that willpower staring at this man in such a way.
That's about what I thought.
The wry smile melts back to kind of his nonchalant. Goes back to tuning his guitar.
Now, is that pretty blatant, that back and forth that they kind of did?
I think you see a significant exchange between two Malkavians. Not to tip my hand too much. I was trying to be subtle with it, but they're tapped into the network, and they're, it's like a whole thing.
We're networking.
Yeah.
All right, so catching
Our
that
LinkedIn
and
account.
seeing that dissipate, I'll get up and then start to head to the door. Thank her again. Thank you for all your time. And next time you're in town, let us know. You have, I'll motion at Ben. You have his card in your book, and we'll have to catch up. And then next time, Nails, you're gonna be on the questioning block.
Nails doesn't talk. She smiles. Or Nails doesn't talk. She doesn't smile. She's like, Nails doesn't talk. He writes. He transcribes. Really, his words are his music.
Oh, if you write, Mr. Nails, was it? I was wondering, could you sign this chapstick? It's for a friend. His name's Francis. He's a huge fan. I hope I'm not imposing at all, but, like, just so grateful for the opportunity to speak to y'all.
So he, so like you see him open up like the lapel of this ancient, this venerable jean jacket, and
Just the cobwebs.
yeah, and like the like moths fly out. No, you actually see like it's got the inside pocket. It's got like the nerdiest pocket protector you've ever seen. With like all the little, and you can see it like perfectly, like everything's like perfectly organized, everything in its right place. And he grabs like this, like just kind of plucks the Sharpie, up like thumb and forefinger, and just like, you've seen him like, kind of like give him like one of those concentrative frowns, not a frown. He's not sad, just like he's really focused and like making sure that comes out without disturbing any of the other like things in their perfect place. And he like daintily like kind of uncaps it, like making sure to not scrape the one of the worst things ever is when you like have a Sharpie and like you splay the tip because you scrape it on the side. So he's very like, and he's just like, and he has this like really like broad looping K that seems like it should be really difficult to put on a tube, but nails it. It goes all the way around and reconnects with itself in like almost like a script print. And then the rest of it's really sloppy. And he just like, kind of like, and then just like, nails is spelled Knails. It's it's spelled differently in every interview ever, by anybody, because he doesn't talk. But you get firsthand, like, his name is spelled Knails.
If I wasn't such a good friend, I could sell this on eBay for so much.
And then he like very carefully, like he takes his moment to inspect the end of the cap, and like make sure that the marker doesn't scrape the edges as it goes in, so that it stays nice and taut and nice precise point. And he very carefully puts the marker on the inside of the lapel, and he like almost knocks one of his pens, and he's like, and he gives a smile again.
Thank you. Like, seriously, thank you so much. I'll have to get you a drink or something, or a meal. Thanks.
He grabs his guitar, like grabs like one of the guitars that's been tuned already, and like plays like a real quick like lick for you.
Oh, Pix is in love.
If anyone notices, he looks at the guitars and they're now out of order. And he looks at them for a little moment, and he puts the guitar back, and he starts staring at the strings on them. And you can see him thinking about retuning them. Like you can see him like, he looks at you, and he gives another smile, and he looks at the guitar, and he just like, and he like just kind of starts nodding to himself, like as if he just had some internal monologue about whether he was supposed to retune all of his guitars or not.
Interesting.
So,
then I exit.
All right. We're gonna do a time jump. Do you all stay and watch the show or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Cass wants to get out.
Yeah.
He'll let everybody know about like the whole she's under the influence of magic thing. But if you guys want to stay, okay.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Besides, these seem like nice people.
All right.
You've never had a ghost. Cass will just stay looking at her.
Okay.
Yeah, Sal's gonna stay and watch in his altered state. Is bad enough an
Keep
idea.
an eye out
as
for
it
any of
is.
those spooky.
All right.
Yes.
Despite playing the first two bands off comedically, they're not too bad. I mean, the Grave War is a little noisy, like they're a little crass, they're a little loud, but like that's how people like their hardcore. Like it's loud, they're energetic, they put on a hell of a show, they break all of the instruments on a college kid finances. Like they lay it all out on the stage. They're pretty good. The second band is, just like I don't know, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult or whatever. Like they're now opening. I think that was the joke I made at the beginning. Like, so My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult actually opens for Momentum Mori as a sort of passing of the torch, and then roll Willpower. The
No.
lights all go down in the venue, and then you get brought in on this like sort of low growling guitar on the low end of the scale, and then the sort of like high pitched sort of operatic note on the other, and they are basically about to meet in the middle and hit resonant frequency as all the lights blast, and then you get the doon doon, like the kick drum, and then suddenly like the blast beats start coming in on the drums, and just it all ramps up. Everyone roll Willpower.
How does this mechanic work exactly?
So you have a Willpower score.
Yep.
And you roll your undamaged willpower.
Okay, so I've used.
So because you spent one, you'll
Yep.
roll one less.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. That's how I thought it worked, but I just needed a refreshing.
Yep.
I see it.
Cat's got no successes.
And where's Ben at?
3. I shut Foundry off. Thought we were wrapping up soon.
Yeah.
So I accidentally closed it early.
I thought everyone got the warning. No. Concert
At 4.
Yeah. Sal, this is from your perspective. You watch the whole show. It's excellent. Awesome. Best rock concert you've ever been to. Wait, no,
Only
it's
one.
noisy. You hate it. It's the worst. This isn't Sinatra.
Noise.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is noise.
Sorry, I forgot which character this was. To the party. You watch them all go stiff. They just lock in place. Joints lock like rigor mortis, which is familiar to a vampire. You see the whole crowd basically get completely entranced in a similar manner. They scream when they should. They clap when they should. They everything like it is you're filming a script, and they have been told the exact moments to do whatever it is. If Athena tells a joke, it's the funniest joke in the world. And this is the whole audience. And you start to kind of notice a small pattern. All of the kind are completely at her utter whim. They cry. They feel everything she feels. Your kindred friends, rigor mortis. And you look around and you can pick out a couple other. And you notice they've got that slight disheveledness to them. Maybe the skin sunk a little bit too much from the eyes without their blush of life helping them will their blood to pumping again. Just like a little, the only one like you who looks around at this scene like, yeah, this is a good rock concert. But what the hell is Ren from the beginning? You see, kind of pick her out. Like you guys probably were, y'all were probably up in the VIP. You had VIP tickets, so you'd have been up in the thing. Ren's down in what would have been the mosh pit, and the mosh pit is just the violentest thing ever. And you see Ren back out of the mosh pit and look up at the stage, and Athena doesn't have lights on her. She's the lights. And we can call it there.